Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Before we begin, please hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what country you're watching from. Today's story will fundamentally change how you view family expectations and personal potential. At the family dinner, Rachel Morrison's parents said, "You're the most pathetic child we have." But instead of breaking her, those words became the catalyst for one of the most extraordinary transformations in architectural history. What happened next turned a crushed daughter into a billion-dollar industry pioneer who would eventually purchase the very building where her family had humiliated her. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. Rachel Morrison had always lived in the shadow of extraordinary expectations. The Morrison family represented 3 generations of surgical excellence in Boston's most prestigious medical circles. Her grandfather, Dr. Edmund Morrison, had pioneered cardiovascular techniques that saved thousands of lives. Her father, Dr. Richard Morrison, continued that legacy as the chief of cardiology at Massachusetts General Hospital. Her older brother, Dr. James Morrison, had recently completed his residency in neurosurgery and was already being hailed as a prodigy. The Morrison name carried weight in Boston's medical establishment. Colleagues spoke of the family with reverence. Medical students sought mentorship from any Morrison they could find, and hospital administrators deferred to their clinical judgment without question. The family dinner conversations revolved around surgical techniques, patient outcomes, and research publications that would advance medical knowledge. Rachel understood from childhood that she was expected to continue this medical dynasty. Her parents had mapped out her path with surgical precision: pre-med at Harvard, medical school at Johns Hopkins, residency in a prestigious specialty, and eventual partnership in the family's private practice. The plan was comprehensive, logical, and absolutely suffocating. However, Rachel possessed a fundamentally different relationship with the world around her. While her family saw human bodies as complex machines requiring repair, Rachel saw spaces and structures as opportunities for transformation. She noticed how hospital layouts affected patient anxiety, how natural light influenced recovery rates, and how architectural design could either support or hinder the healing process. During her teenage years, Rachel spent countless hours sketching building modifications and space redesigns, rather than studying organic chemistry and anatomy. She envisioned healthcare facilities that integrated healing environments with cutting-edge medical technology, creating spaces where architecture itself became part of the therapeutic process. These interests felt natural and energizing to her, unlike the medical textbooks that seemed to drain her energy and focus. Rachel's passion for architecture developed organically through her observations of the built environment. She noticed how certain spaces made people feel comfortable and inspired, while others created stress and discomfort. This sensitivity to environmental psychology became the foundation for her later innovations in healthcare architecture. During high school, Rachel secretly enrolled in weekend architecture workshops at the Boston Architectural College. She learned about structural engineering, sustainable design principles, and the relationship between form and function. These sessions felt like discovering a language she had been meant to speak her entire life. The workshops introduced Rachel to the work of renowned healthcare architects who specialized in designing medical facilities that promoted healing through environmental design. She studied projects that integrated natural elements, optimized patient flow, and created calming atmospheres that reduced stress for both patients and medical staff. Rachel began developing her own design philosophy that combined her intimate knowledge of medical environments with innovative architectural concepts. She envisioned healthcare facilities that would revolutionize patient experiences while supporting medical professionals in delivering optimal care. However, Rachel kept these interests hidden from her family, understanding intuitively that her architectural passion would be viewed as a betrayal of family tradition and expectations. She maintained excellent grades in her science courses while pursuing her true calling in secret. As Rachel progressed through high school, the tension between her authentic interests and family expectations became increasingly difficult to manage. Her parents frequently discussed her future medical career as an established fact rather than a choice, making statements about which medical specialties might suit her personality and which research areas could benefit from her analytical abilities. Family gatherings became exercises in elaborate deception as Rachel navigated conversations about medical school applications and MCAT preparation, while internally developing architectural design skills and knowledge. She felt increasingly disconnected from family discussions and worried about the inevitable confrontation that would occur when her true interests became known. Rachel's academic performance remained strong, but her engagement with pre-medical coursework felt mechanical and uninspired. She excelled because she possessed strong analytical abilities, not because the material resonated with her genuine interests and aspirations. The psychological strain of maintaining this dual existence began affecting Rachel's overall well-being. She felt like she was living someone else's life while her authentic self remained hidden and unexpressed. The weight of family expectations created constant anxiety about disappointing people she loved while pursuing interests they would likely view as frivolous or inappropriate. Rachel's secret architectural studies became her refuge and source of energy. The creative problem-solving required for design work felt natural and engaging in ways that medical studies never did. She began to understand that architecture represented not just a career interest, but a fundamental aspect of her identity and purpose. The crisis point arrived during Rachel's senior year when college applications were due. Her parents expected her to apply exclusively to institutions with strong pre-medical programs, while Rachel desperately wanted to pursue architectural studies at schools renowned for their design programs. Rachel had secretly researched architecture programs at MIT, Carnegie Mellon, and Cornell, identifying programs that combined architectural design with healthcare specialization. These programs offered exactly the kind of interdisciplinary approach that excited her, integrating her understanding of medical environments with formal architectural training. However, submitting applications to architecture programs would require explanation and justification that Rachel felt unprepared to provide. Her parents had invested significant emotional energy in her medical career path, and architectural studies would represent a complete departure from family tradition and expectations. The internal conflict intensified as application deadlines approached. Rachel found herself paralyzed between the desire to pursue her authentic interests and the fear of devastating her family through rejection of their carefully planned expectations. During this period, Rachel's secret architectural work became more sophisticated and focused. She developed comprehensive design proposals for healthcare facilities that demonstrated advanced understanding of both medical requirements and architectural principles. These projects represented her best work and clearest expression of her genuine capabilities and interests. Unable to resolve the conflict between family expectations and personal authenticity, Rachel chose a compromise approach that satisfied neither her genuine desires nor her family's expectations. She applied to pre-medical programs at prestigious universities while secretly maintaining her architectural interests through continued independent study and design work. This decision created a temporary solution that avoided immediate confrontation while increasing the psychological pressure Rachel experienced. She understood that eventually she would need to address the fundamental misalignment between her chosen path and her authentic interests. Rachel's architectural work during this period demonstrated remarkable sophistication for someone without formal training. Her design projects integrated medical knowledge with innovative spatial concepts, creating proposals that addressed real problems in healthcare delivery through architectural solutions. The quality of Rachel's architectural work suggested that she possessed natural talent and acquired expertise that could support a successful career in healthcare architecture. However, this potential remained hidden from the family members who could have provided support and encouragement for her genuine interests. Rachel's academic performance remained excellent, earning acceptance to several prestigious pre-medical programs. Her parents celebrated these acceptances as validation of their guidance and confirmation that Rachel was following the appropriate path toward medical career success. As high school graduation approached, the pressure to commit fully to the pre-medical path intensified. Rachel's parents began making detailed plans for her college experience, including recommendations for specific courses, extracurricular activities, and research opportunities that would strengthen her medical school applications. The detailed planning made Rachel's internal conflict more acute as she realized the extent to which her parents had invested in her medical career. Their enthusiasm and pride in her academic achievements created additional guilt about her secret interests and desire to pursue a different path. Rachel began experiencing physical symptoms of stress, including insomnia, loss of appetite, and difficulty concentrating. The psychological burden of maintaining deception while suppressing her authentic interests was affecting her overall health and well-being. During this period, Rachel's architectural work became more ambitious and technically sophisticated. She developed a comprehensive design proposal for a children's hospital that integrated healing gardens, natural light optimization, and family-centered care spaces. The project demonstrated her ability to synthesize medical knowledge with innovative architectural concepts. The children's hospital design represented Rachel's clearest vision of how she could contribute to healthcare through architectural innovation rather than direct medical practice. The project addressed real problems in pediatric care delivery while creating environments that supported healing and family involvement. The internal tension reached a breaking point during the summer before college, when Rachel's parents organized a family dinner to celebrate her academic achievements and discuss her upcoming pre-medical studies. The dinner was planned as a formal acknowledgement of Rachel's successful completion of her pre-professional preparation and transition into serious medical career development. Rachel understood that this dinner represented a critical moment where her deception would either deepen or be revealed. Her parents had invited extended family members and family friends to celebrate her achievements and hear about her plans for medical school preparation. The prospect of publicly confirming her commitment to medical studies while internally knowing her genuine interests lay elsewhere created intense anxiety and internal conflict. Rachel realized that participating in this celebration would represent a deeper level of deception that would become increasingly difficult to maintain. Alternatively, the dinner could provide an opportunity to reveal her authentic interests and begin the difficult conversation about pursuing architectural studies instead of medical career preparation. This option involved significant risk of family disappointment and conflict, but offered the possibility of authentic alignment between her actions and interests. Rachel's architectural portfolio had grown substantially during her high school years, demonstrating consistent development and increasing sophistication. She had created designs for various healthcare facilities that showcased her ability to integrate medical knowledge with innovative architectural concepts. The family dinner was held at the Morrison family's historic Beacon Hill townhouse, a meticulously maintained property that reflected the family's commitment to tradition and excellence. The dining room featured portraits of previous generations of Morrison physicians, creating an atmosphere that emphasized continuity and heritage. Rachel's parents had prepared a formal presentation about her achievements and future plans, including a detailed timeline for medical school preparation and career development. The presentation demonstrated their pride in her accomplishments while reinforcing their expectations for her continued progress toward medical career goals. Extended family members and longtime family friends attended the dinner, creating an audience that included several prominent physicians who had known Rachel since childhood. Their presence added weight to the celebration while increasing the pressure Rachel felt about revealing her authentic interests. The conversation during dinner focused primarily on medical topics, including recent developments in cardiac surgery, innovations in medical technology, and opportunities for research collaboration. Rachel participated appropriately in these discussions, while internally feeling increasingly disconnected from the subject matter and career path being celebrated. As the evening progressed, Rachel's anxiety intensified as she realized the magnitude of expectations being placed on her continued progress toward medical career goals. The detailed planning and enthusiastic support from family members made the prospect of revealing her architectural interests feel like a betrayal of their investment and expectations. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. Following dinner, Rachel's father stood to deliver a formal toast, acknowledging her achievements and expressing the family's pride in her continued commitment to medical excellence. His speech emphasized the Morrison family tradition while highlighting Rachel's potential to contribute to their medical legacy. During the toast, Rachel experienced a moment of clarity about the fundamental disconnect between her authentic interests and the path being celebrated. She realized that continuing the deception would require suppressing her genuine passion for architecture while pursuing a career that felt increasingly foreign to her natural abilities and interests. The weight of family expectations, combined with her growing understanding of her architectural potential, created a crisis point that demanded resolution. Rachel understood that she could no longer maintain the dual existence that had characterized her high school years. In that moment, Rachel made the decision to reveal her authentic interests and request support for pursuing architectural studies instead of pre-medical preparation. This decision represented a fundamental shift from deception to authenticity, despite the significant risks involved. Rachel's architectural portfolio, which she had kept hidden in her room, represented evidence of her genuine passion and developing expertise. The quality of her work demonstrated that her interest in architecture was serious and supported by substantial skill development. The decision to reveal her authentic interests required enormous courage given the family dynamics and expectations that had been established over many years. Rachel understood that her announcement would likely create disappointment and conflict, but she also recognized that continuing the deception was no longer sustainable or healthy. As her father concluded his toast and the family raised their glasses in celebration of her medical career prospects, Rachel stood and took a deep breath, preparing to transform the evening from celebration to confrontation through her announcement about her true interests and career goals. The moment represented the culmination of years of internal conflict and the beginning of what would become either a family crisis or an opportunity for authentic relationship building based on acceptance of her genuine interests and capabilities. "Thank you, Dad, for those kind words," Rachel began, her voice steady despite the trembling in her hands. "But before we celebrate my medical career, there's something I need to tell you all." The room fell silent as family members sensed the shift in Rachel's tone and demeanor. Her mother's expression changed from pride to concern as she recognized that Rachel was about to say something unexpected and potentially significant. "I appreciate everything this family has done to support my education and development," Rachel continued, "but I need to be honest about my actual interests and career goals. I don't want to become a doctor." The silence that followed was complete and heavy. Rachel could hear the antique grandfather clock ticking in the hallway as family members processed her statement and its implications for the evening's celebration and their expectations for her future. "Instead," Rachel said, her voice growing stronger, "I want to study architecture. Specifically, I want to design healthcare facilities that improve patient outcomes through environmental innovation. I've been developing architectural designs for several years, and I believe I can contribute to healthcare in ways that align with my actual abilities and interests." Her father's face transformed from pride to confusion to what appeared to be profound disappointment. Her mother's expression showed shock and betrayal, as if Rachel had revealed something fundamentally deceptive about her character. The extended family members and family friends exchanged glances that communicated their discomfort with witnessing what was clearly becoming a family crisis. The celebration had transformed into a confrontation that none of them had anticipated or prepared for. "Architecture?" her father said, his voice containing disbelief and what sounded like disgust. "You want to abandon medical school to become an architect?" The way he pronounced the word architect suggested that he viewed the profession as fundamentally inferior to medicine and incompatible with Morrison family values and traditions. Rachel's mother spoke next, her voice tight with controlled emotion. "Rachel, this is not the time or place for this kind of announcement. We have guests, and this discussion belongs in private." However, Rachel understood that private family discussions had never allowed space for her authentic interests, and that public revelation might be her only opportunity to be heard without immediate dismissal or attempts to change her mind through prolonged argument. "I understand this is disappointing," Rachel said, "but I've given this decision serious thought and preparation. I have a portfolio of architectural work that demonstrates my commitment and capability in this field." Her brother James, who had remained silent during the initial exchange, spoke with barely contained anger. "Do you have any idea how selfish this is? Do you understand what this family has sacrificed to give you opportunities that millions of people would die for?" The accusation of selfishness stung, because Rachel had been trying to balance family expectations with personal authenticity for years. She had not made this decision lightly or without consideration for family feelings and investments. "This isn't about rejecting family support," Rachel replied. "This is about using my abilities in ways that align with my genuine interests and potential for contribution. I believe I can make significant impacts in healthcare through architectural innovation." Her father's response was swift and devastating. "Rachel, you're being naive and ungrateful. Architecture is not a serious profession for someone with your capabilities and opportunities. You're throwing away a chance to save lives and make real contributions to society." The dismissal of architecture as unserious, and her potential contributions as meaningless, felt like a fundamental rejection of her identity and judgment. The family seemed unable to consider that her interests might represent legitimate career potential rather than misguided rebellion. The conversation continued with increasing intensity as family members expressed their disappointment and concern about Rachel's announcement. Their responses revealed deep-seated assumptions about professional hierarchies and the relative value of different types of contributions to society. Finally, after several minutes of heated exchange, Rachel's mother delivered the words that would haunt and motivate Rachel for years to come. "Honestly, Rachel, you're the most pathetic child we have. Your brother is saving lives, and you want to play with building blocks." The cruel dismissal of her interests as childish play, combined with the direct attack on her worth as a family member, created a moment of profound clarity for Rachel. She understood that her family's love was conditional on conformity to their expectations, and that authentic self-expression would not be supported or respected. In that moment, Rachel made a decision that would transform her life and ultimately revolutionize healthcare architecture. Instead of arguing further or attempting to justify her interests, she would prove through her achievements that their assessment of her potential was fundamentally wrong. The words, "most pathetic child we have," became the foundation for what would become one of the most remarkable success stories in contemporary architecture, demonstrating how devastating rejection can become the catalyst for extraordinary achievement when channeled through strategic determination and authentic passion. Rachel excused herself from the dinner without further argument, understanding that words would never convince her family of her potential, and that only extraordinary achievement would validate her decision to pursue her authentic interests, despite their opposition and dismissal. Rachel climbed the narrow stairs to her third-floor bedroom in the Beacon Hill townhouse, each step feeling heavier than the last. The voices from the dining room below continued in urgent, hushed tones, punctuated by her mother's occasional sharp exclamations of disbelief. The sound of chairs scraping against hardwood floors indicated that the dinner party was dissolving into smaller conversations as guests processed what they had witnessed. Her bedroom door closed with a soft click that seemed to seal her fate. The familiar space, decorated with medical school pennants and pre-med textbooks, now felt like a museum of a life she had never authentically lived. Rachel sat on her bed and stared at the acceptance letters from prestigious universities that were tacked to her bulletin board, each one representing a path toward a future that felt increasingly foreign to her authentic self. The portfolio of architectural work that had sustained her through years of deception lay hidden beneath her mattress. Rachel retrieved the thick folder and spread her designs across the bedroom floor, creating a visual reminder of the passion and capability that her family had just dismissed as pathetic and childish. The contrast between her secret work and the medical career materials that dominated her room crystallized the profound disconnect between her authentic interests and family expectations. Each architectural drawing represented hours of careful study and creative problem-solving that had energized rather than drained her. The healthcare facility designs demonstrated sophisticated understanding of both medical requirements and innovative spatial concepts, showcasing abilities that her family refused to acknowledge or value. Rachel understood that the evening's confrontation had transformed her situation from manageable tension to open conflict. The public nature of her announcement and her family's harsh response had eliminated any possibility of quietly changing course or maintaining the previous balance between authentic interests and family expectations. The complexity of Rachel's situation became apparent as she considered the practical implications of pursuing architectural education without family support. The Morrison family had established substantial college funds for both their children, with clear expectations that these resources would support medical career preparation. Rachel's announcement had effectively severed her access to this financial foundation. Architecture programs at prestigious institutions required significant financial investment, particularly for the specialized equipment, software, and studio space necessary for comprehensive design education. Without family financial support, Rachel would need to identify alternative funding sources while maintaining academic excellence sufficient for admission to competitive programs. The financial challenge extended beyond tuition and fees to include living expenses during college years when architectural students typically engage in unpaid internships and design competitions that build professional portfolios. The demanding schedule of architecture education often precluded substantial part-time employment, creating additional financial pressure for students without family support. Rachel began researching scholarship opportunities specifically available for architectural education, discovering that many awards required demonstrated financial need combined with exceptional portfolio quality. This research revealed that her secret architectural work would need to reach professional standards to compete effectively for limited scholarship resources. The investigation into financial aid options also revealed the timeline challenges she faced. Most scholarship applications required submission during the fall semester for awards beginning the following academic year. Rachel's late recognition of her need for alternative funding sources had created significant time pressure for developing competitive applications. Rachel's decision to pursue architecture instead of medicine created immediate academic complications that extended beyond financial considerations. Her course schedule for senior year had been designed exclusively around pre-medical requirements, with advanced placement courses in chemistry, biology, and physics that would contribute minimally to architectural education preparation. The gap between her current academic preparation and the portfolio requirements for architecture program applications became apparent as Rachel researched admission standards for her target schools. Architecture programs typically required substantial visual art experience, technical drawing capabilities, and design project portfolios that demonstrated creative problem-solving abilities. Rachel's scientific coursework had developed analytical and mathematical skills that would prove valuable in architectural education, particularly in structural engineering and building systems courses. However, her lack of formal art education and limited experience with design software created significant preparation gaps that would need to be addressed rapidly. The timeline for college applications created additional pressure as architecture programs typically required earlier application deadlines than pre-medical tracks. Rachel would need to develop a competitive portfolio while simultaneously completing her challenging senior year coursework and maintaining the academic performance necessary for scholarship consideration. The guidance counselor at her prestigious preparatory school had no experience supporting students who abandoned pre-medical tracks for architectural education. This lack of institutional support meant that Rachel would need to navigate the application process independently, while educating herself about program requirements and portfolio standards. The family dinner confrontation had immediate social consequences that extended beyond the Morrison household. News of Rachel's dramatic announcement spread quickly through Boston's interconnected medical community, creating whispered conversations about the Morrison daughter who had rejected her family's medical legacy for architectural pursuits. Rachel's longtime friends, many of whom were also pursuing pre-medical education, struggled to understand her decision to abandon what they perceived as guaranteed success for uncertain prospects in an unfamiliar field. Their confusion and disappointment reflected broader social assumptions about professional hierarchies and the relative value of different career paths. The preparatory school environment became increasingly uncomfortable, as teachers and administrators who had supported Rachel's medical career preparation expressed concern about her sudden change in direction. Their well-intentioned attempts to encourage reconsideration of her decision reinforced the isolation she felt from institutional support systems. Extended family members began contacting Rachel directly to express their disappointment and concern about her career decision. These conversations revealed the extent to which her medical career had been integrated into family identity and social positioning within Boston's professional community. The weight of social disapproval created psychological pressure that compounded the practical challenges Rachel faced in pursuing her authentic interests. The consistent message from her social environment suggested that her decision represented poor judgment and ingratitude, rather than legitimate career choice based on genuine abilities and interests. The days following the dinner confrontation revealed the depth of her family's investment in her medical career and their inability to accept her architectural interests as legitimate or valuable. Her parents' responses escalated from disappointment to active resistance as they developed strategies for pressuring Rachel to reconsider her decision. Her mother implemented emotional manipulation tactics that included expressions of profound disappointment, suggestions that Rachel's decision represented ingratitude for family sacrifices, and predictions of future regret when architectural career prospects proved inadequate. These approaches reflected her inability to understand architectural education as serious professional preparation. Her father adopted a more analytical approach, presenting detailed comparisons between medical and architectural career prospects that emphasized lifetime earning potential, social status, and opportunities for meaningful contribution to society. His arguments revealed fundamental misunderstanding of contemporary architectural practice and the potential for innovation within the field. James, her brother, oscillated between anger and condescension as he attempted to convince Rachel that her interests represented temporary rebellion rather than authentic career calling. His success in medical education created additional pressure as family members used him as an example of appropriate Morrison family achievement. The family dynamics became increasingly toxic as each member developed different strategies for pressuring Rachel to abandon her architectural interests. The coordinated nature of their efforts suggested that they had discussed approaches for changing her mind through systematic application of guilt, disappointment, and practical arguments. Recognizing that her family would not provide support or guidance for architectural education pursuit, Rachel embarked on intensive independent research to understand program requirements, career prospects, and the specific knowledge and skills necessary for success in healthcare architecture. This research revealed the sophisticated nature of contemporary architectural practice, particularly in healthcare specialization, where designers must integrate medical knowledge, building technology, environmental psychology, and regulatory compliance into comprehensive design solutions. The complexity of the field contradicted her family's dismissive characterization of architecture as simplistic or decorative practice. Rachel discovered that healthcare architecture represented one of the most challenging and rapidly evolving specializations within the profession, requiring expertise in medical planning, infection control, technology integration, and evidence-based design principles that improve patient outcomes through environmental intervention. The research also revealed successful architects who had backgrounds in other fields, including several prominent healthcare architects who had originally pursued medical education before transitioning to design careers. These examples provided encouragement that her medical knowledge could enhance rather than complicate her architectural career development. Professional organization websites and architectural journals introduced Rachel to cutting-edge projects that demonstrated the potential for architectural innovation to address critical healthcare challenges. These examples reinforced her belief that architecture could provide meaningful ways to contribute to healthcare improvement through environmental design. Rachel's research into architecture program admissions revealed that portfolio quality represented the most critical factor in competitive application processes. Her existing architectural work, while sophisticated for self-taught effort, required significant development to meet professional standards expected by admissions committees. The portfolio development process required mastering technical drawing software, understanding architectural representation conventions, and creating presentation formats that effectively communicated design concepts and problem-solving approaches. These technical skills represented substantial learning investments that would need to be accomplished rapidly. Rachel also discovered that competitive portfolios typically included diverse project types that demonstrated versatility and creativity beyond single focus areas. Her concentration on healthcare facility design, while representing genuine interest and developing expertise, needed supplementation with other project types that showcased broader design capabilities. The challenge of developing portfolio quality while maintaining academic performance in demanding senior year coursework created significant time management pressures. Rachel would need to develop efficient learning strategies and prioritization systems that enabled progress in both areas without compromising either commitment. Professional portfolio examples from successful applicants revealed the sophisticated level of presentation and conceptual development expected for admission to prestigious architecture programs. Rachel understood that her current work would need substantial enhancement to compete effectively with applicants who had formal art and design education. Rachel's isolation from family support highlighted her lack of professional mentorship and guidance for navigating architectural career development. Unlike her medical career preparation, which had been supported by extensive family knowledge and professional connections, architectural education pursuit would require identifying new sources of expertise and advice. The absence of architectural professionals within her social network created challenges for understanding contemporary practice realities, program selection strategies, and career development approaches. Rachel would need to develop new relationships with professionals who could provide guidance and support for her transition into architectural education. Research into mentorship opportunities revealed that many architectural professionals were generous with advice and support for aspiring students, particularly those pursuing healthcare specialization. However, identifying and accessing these mentorship relationships required initiative and networking skills that Rachel had not previously needed to develop. Professional organizations offered student membership categories that provided access to networking events, continuing education programs, and mentorship matching services. These resources represented potential pathways for developing professional relationships that could support Rachel's career transition. The mentorship void also extended to practical guidance about portfolio development, program selection, and application strategies that experienced architects could provide based on their own educational experiences and professional observations. As October progressed, Rachel faced increasing pressure from multiple simultaneous deadlines that threatened to overwhelm her capacity for effective response. Architecture program applications typically required submission by December for fall admission, creating compressed timelines for portfolio development and application completion. The early application deadlines meant that Rachel had less than 2 months to develop competitive portfolio materials, while simultaneously maintaining excellence in her demanding senior year coursework. This timeline pressure required strategic prioritization and efficient work processes that maximized productivity within available time. Scholarship application deadlines created additional pressure as many awards required submission during the same period as admission applications. Rachel would need to develop compelling scholarship essays while creating portfolio materials and maintaining academic performance standards. The compressed timeline also limited opportunities for receiving feedback and revision of portfolio materials before final submission. Rachel would need to develop strong self-assessment capabilities and efficient revision processes that improved work quality within tight time constraints. The multiple deadlines created psychological pressure that threatened to undermine Rachel's confidence and decision-making effectiveness. Managing stress while maintaining productivity required developing resilient strategies that sustained motivation despite overwhelming demands. Rachel's honest assessment of her current capabilities revealed significant gaps between her existing skills and the requirements for successful architectural education and career development. These gaps represented learning opportunities rather than insurmountable obstacles, but they required systematic development strategies. Technical drawing and computer-aided design skills represented immediate priorities for portfolio development and architectural education success. Rachel would need to invest substantial time in mastering software programs and developing proficiency in architectural representation techniques. Visual communication and presentation skills required development as architectural practice involves extensive client communication and public presentation of design concepts. Rachel's scientific education had not emphasized these communication modes, creating learning needs that extended beyond technical design capabilities. Understanding of building construction, structural systems, and environmental building performance represented areas where Rachel's analytical abilities could be leveraged through focused study and practical application. These technical aspects of architecture aligned well with her scientific background, while requiring specialized knowledge. Professional practice knowledge, including project management, client relations, and business development, represented longer-term learning objectives that would become important during career development but were less critical for immediate portfolio development and program admission. The complexity and intensity of challenges facing Rachel required development of comprehensive strategic responses that addressed immediate needs while establishing foundations for long-term success. This strategic thinking represented a crucial transition from reactive responses to proactive planning and implementation. Rachel began organizing her available time and energy around priority activities that would have the greatest impact on her ability to pursue architectural education successfully. This prioritization required difficult decisions about reducing involvement in activities that did not directly support her new objectives. The strategic response included identifying specific learning objectives for portfolio development, establishing timelines for skill acquisition, and creating accountability systems that would maintain momentum despite external pressures and internal doubts. Rachel also began developing communication strategies for engaging with potential mentors, scholarship committees, and admissions officers in ways that would maximize support for her architectural education pursuit while addressing concerns about her non-traditional background. The strategic framework provided structure for decision-making and resource allocation during the intensive preparation period, while maintaining flexibility for adaptation as new challenges and opportunities emerged. The weeks following the family dinner marked the beginning of Rachel's transformation from passive recipient of family expectations to active architect of her own future. This transformation required developing new capabilities while maintaining the academic performance that would keep options available. The intensity of the challenge created opportunities for rapid personal growth as Rachel discovered capabilities and resilience that had been dormant during her years of conforming to external expectations. The necessity of independent action revealed strengths that previous supported environments had not required or developed. Rachel's secret architectural work evolved from personal interest to serious professional preparation as she applied increased focus and rigor to developing portfolio materials. The quality improvements demonstrated her capacity for rapid skill development when motivated by authentic interest and clear objectives. The isolation from family support, while painful, also created freedom from external pressure and expectations that had constrained her authentic development. Rachel began experiencing the energy and creativity that emerged when her efforts aligned with genuine interests and values. The deepening crisis had paradoxically created the conditions necessary for Rachel to discover and develop her authentic potential, setting the stage for the recognition phase, where she would gain complete understanding of the challenges ahead and develop comprehensive strategies for overcoming them. By November, Rachel had developed a clear understanding of the comprehensive challenges that lay ahead in her pursuit of architectural education and career transformation. The initial shock of family rejection had evolved into systematic analysis of the obstacles and opportunities that would define her path forward. This analytical approach represented a fundamental shift from emotional reaction to strategic planning, based on complete situational awareness. Rachel's methodical evaluation revealed that her challenge extended far beyond simple career change to encompass financial independence, professional credibility development, and family relationship reconstruction. The interconnected nature of these challenges required sophisticated planning that addressed multiple objectives simultaneously while maintaining focus on ultimate goals. The assessment process demonstrated that Rachel's scientific education had provided valuable analytical capabilities that could be leveraged for strategic problem-solving in architectural contexts. Her ability to gather information systematically, evaluate options objectively, and develop evidence-based conclusions represented transferable skills that would enhance her architectural education and career development. Rachel understood that success would require not only achieving admission to a prestigious architecture program, but also establishing financial independence that eliminated dependence on family support. This dual requirement created complexity that demanded creative approaches to resource development and cost management throughout her educational journey. The comprehensive assessment also revealed potential advantages that had not been immediately apparent during the crisis period. Rachel's medical knowledge background would provide unique qualifications for healthcare architecture specialization, creating competitive advantages that could accelerate career development and distinguish her from peers without similar expertise. Rachel's deep analysis revealed that the stakes of her transformation journey extended beyond personal career satisfaction to encompass fundamental questions about authenticity, family relationships, and life purpose. Success would validate her decision-making capabilities, and demonstrate that individuals could pursue authentic interests despite substantial external pressure and opposition. Failure to achieve her architectural career objectives would not only confirm her family's predictions about poor judgment, but also eliminate her credibility for future attempts at significant life changes. The high visibility of her public rejection of family expectations created accountability that demanded exceptional achievement to justify the risks she had accepted. The stakes also included broader implications for other young people who might face similar conflicts between family expectations and authentic interests. Rachel understood that her success could provide encouragement and practical guidance for others struggling with comparable decisions about career authenticity versus external pressure. Financial failure during her educational pursuit would create long-term consequences that could compromise her ability to pursue architectural career development effectively. Student loan debt without degree completion would represent a devastating outcome that could require decades to resolve while eliminating opportunities for continued professional advancement. The relationship stakes with her family represented another critical dimension that required careful consideration. Complete estrangement would eliminate valuable emotional support and professional connections that could benefit her future development, while reconciliation required demonstrating success that validated her initial decision-making. Through systematic reflection on her family dynamics and social environment, Rachel began identifying patterns that had influenced her previous decision-making and would continue affecting her transformation journey. This pattern recognition capability enabled more sophisticated strategic planning that anticipated and prepared for predictable challenges. Rachel recognized that her family's response to her architectural interests reflected broader cultural assumptions about professional hierarchies and gender expectations that extended beyond individual family dynamics. This understanding helped her prepare for similar reactions from other authority figures and social institutions during her career development. The pattern analysis revealed that her family's intense reactions stemmed partly from their investment in maintaining social status within Boston's medical community, where their identity had become intertwined with their children's professional achievements. This insight explained the emotional intensity of their opposition, while suggesting strategies for eventual relationship repair. Rachel also identified patterns in her own behavior that had contributed to the current crisis, including her tendency to avoid difficult conversations through deception rather than addressing conflicts directly. This self-awareness enabled development of more authentic communication strategies that would prevent similar problems in future relationships. The recognition of systemic patterns within architectural education and career development helped Rachel understand the challenges and opportunities that typically face students from non-traditional backgrounds. This knowledge enabled realistic timeline planning and strategic preparation for common obstacles. Rachel's comprehensive analysis revealed significant opportunities that existed within her challenging circumstances, transforming apparent disadvantages into potential competitive advantages through strategic thinking and creative problem-solving approaches. Her medical knowledge background represented a unique qualification for healthcare architecture specialization that could differentiate her from other architectural students and practitioners. This expertise could accelerate her career development within the rapidly growing healthcare construction market while providing meaningful ways to contribute to improved patient outcomes. The financial constraints that initially appeared problematic could foster resourcefulness and efficiency that would benefit her throughout her career development. Students who learned to achieve excellent results with limited resources often developed capabilities that enhanced their professional effectiveness and competitive positioning. Rachel's experience navigating family conflict and social opposition would develop resilience and independent thinking capabilities that would prove valuable during challenging phases of architectural education and professional practice. These psychological strengths could enable sustained effort despite setbacks and criticism. The publicity surrounding her family confrontation, while initially embarrassing, could eventually become part of a compelling professional narrative about pursuing authentic interests, despite substantial obstacles. This story could differentiate her in competitive application processes and professional networking situations. The necessity of building her architectural career without family connections would require developing networking and relationship-building skills that could ultimately provide broader professional advantages than inherited family networks would have offered. Rachel's analysis culminated in development of a comprehensive strategic framework that integrated her situation assessment, stakes clarification, pattern recognition, and opportunity identification into coherent approaches for achieving her transformation objectives. The strategic framework established clear priorities that focused her limited time and energy on activities with the highest impact potential for achieving architectural education, admission, and career development. This prioritization enabled efficient resource allocation while maintaining progress toward multiple objectives simultaneously. Rachel developed a phased approach that broke her comprehensive objectives into manageable components with specific timelines and measurable outcomes. This structure provided clear progress indicators while enabling course corrections when circumstances changed or new opportunities emerged. The framework included risk mitigation strategies that prepared for predictable challenges while building resilience for managing unexpected obstacles. These preparations enabled continued progress, despite setbacks, while maintaining motivation and confidence throughout the transformation journey. Communication strategies within the framework addressed the need for building new professional relationships, while managing existing family dynamics in ways that preserved opportunities for eventual reconciliation without compromising her authentic career pursuits. Rachel's strategic planning required comprehensive resource mobilization that addressed financial needs, knowledge acquisition, skill development, and relationship building necessary for successful architectural career transition. This mobilization demanded creative approaches that maximized available assets while identifying new resource sources. Financial planning included detailed analysis of educational costs, living expenses, and career development investments that would be required throughout her architectural education journey. Rachel developed multiple funding scenarios that combined scholarships, part-time employment, and strategic borrowing to minimize debt while maintaining educational quality. The resource plan addressed knowledge gaps through systematic learning approaches that leveraged free and low-cost educational resources, while identifying areas where professional instruction would be essential. This strategic learning approach maximized capability development within financial constraints. Skill development planning prioritized technical capabilities that would be immediately necessary for portfolio development and architectural education success, while establishing longer-term learning objectives for professional career advancement. This phased approach enabled efficient progress without overwhelming time demands. Relationship-building strategies focused on identifying and engaging with architectural professionals who could provide mentorship, advice, and eventual career opportunities. Rachel developed systematic approaches for networking that provided value to potential mentors while building sustainable professional relationships. Rachel's comprehensive planning required integration of multiple timelines and competing deadlines into coherent schedules that enabled progress toward all objectives without compromising any critical requirements. This integration demanded sophisticated project management capabilities and realistic assessment of time requirements. The immediate timeline focused on portfolio development and application completion for architectural programs, with specific milestones for skill acquisition, project completion, and application submission. This schedule required intensive effort during a compressed timeframe, while maintaining academic performance in her final year of preparatory education. Medium-term planning addressed the undergraduate education period, with timelines for internship acquisition, professional networking, and advanced skill development that would position her for successful career entry upon graduation. This planning incorporated realistic expectations about architectural education demands while identifying opportunities for acceleration. Long-term timeline planning addressed career development objectives including licensure requirements, specialization development, and professional advancement goals that would demonstrate the success of her transformation journey. These longer-term objectives provided motivation during difficult periods while guiding strategic decision-making throughout her education. Milestone development created specific, measurable indicators of progress that would maintain motivation while enabling course corrections when necessary. These milestones balanced stretch objectives that demanded excellence with achievable targets that built confidence through consistent achievement. Rachel's recognition of architectural education requirements led to sophisticated academic strategy development that addressed both immediate portfolio needs and longer-term educational success preparation. This strategy required balancing current academic obligations with intensive skill development for her new career path. The academic strategy included tactical approaches for accelerating visual arts skill development through intensive courses, online learning, and independent study that would bring her portfolio development capabilities to competitive levels within available timeframes. This acceleration required systematic learning approaches and dedicated practice schedules. Rachel developed approaches for leveraging her existing scientific knowledge in architectural contexts, identifying specific areas where her analytical capabilities could enhance design problem-solving and technical understanding. This integration strategy transformed apparent disadvantages into competitive advantages. Study strategy development addressed the intensive demands of architectural education while building learning efficiency that would enable academic excellence despite her non-traditional preparation background. These strategies emphasized visual learning, hands-on application, and collaborative problem-solving that characterized architectural pedagogy. The academic strategy also included planning for summer programs and intensive workshops that could supplement her formal education while providing networking opportunities and exposure to contemporary architectural practice. These supplementary experiences would accelerate her professional development while building confidence in her career choice. Rachel's transformation required developing a clear professional identity that integrated her unique background with contemporary architectural practice, while positioning her for success in healthcare architecture specialization. This identity formation process demanded authentic self-presentation that leveraged her distinctive qualifications. Professional identity development included articulating her value proposition as an architectural professional with medical knowledge background, demonstrating how this combination would enable unique contributions to healthcare facility design and planning. This positioning required sophisticated understanding of both fields and their intersection points. Rachel developed communication strategies for presenting her career transition story in ways that emphasized intentional development rather than rejection or failure in medical career preparation. This narrative framing would be essential for scholarship applications, program admissions, and professional networking situations. The identity formation process included developing professional presence through online portfolios, social media engagement, and professional organization participation that would establish her credibility within architectural communities while building visibility for her unique qualifications and interests. Personal branding development addressed the need for consistent messaging about her background, interests, and career objectives across multiple contexts and audiences, while maintaining authenticity and avoiding misrepresentation of her experience or capabilities. Rachel's strategic framework required sophisticated feedback systems that would provide accurate information about her progress while enabling rapid course corrections when strategies proved ineffective or circumstances changed unexpectedly. Performance measurement systems addressed both quantitative indicators, such as skill assessment scores and portfolio quality ratings, and qualitative feedback from mentors, peers, and professional contacts about her development progress and market positioning. Rachel established regular review processes that evaluated her strategic implementation against planned objectives, while identifying areas where additional effort or strategy modification would improve outcomes. These reviews balanced honest self-assessment with objective external feedback. The feedback systems included mechanisms for gathering market intelligence about architectural education and career development trends that could affect her strategic planning and tactical implementation. This market awareness would enable proactive adaptation to changing conditions and emerging opportunities. Error detection and correction processes ensured that mistakes or ineffective approaches would be identified quickly, while minimizing their impact on overall progress toward transformation objectives. These systems emphasized learning from setbacks rather than viewing them as failures. Rachel's comprehensive planning included preparation for potential crises that could threaten her transformation journey, developing response strategies that would enable continued progress despite significant setbacks or unexpected challenges. Financial crisis preparation included emergency funding strategies and cost reduction approaches that could be implemented rapidly if scholarship funding fell through or unexpected expenses emerged during her educational journey. These preparations provided psychological security while enabling risk-taking for high-reward opportunities. Academic crisis response planning addressed potential difficulties with portfolio development, program admission, or educational performance that could threaten her timeline or objectives. These contingency plans included alternative pathways and recovery strategies that would maintain momentum despite temporary setbacks. Family relationship crisis management strategies prepared for potential escalation of family conflict, while preserving opportunities for eventual reconciliation without compromising her authentic career pursuits. These approaches balanced boundary setting with relationship preservation. Professional development crisis preparation addressed potential challenges with mentorship relationships, internship opportunities, or career advancement that could affect her long-term success prospects. These strategies emphasized resilience and alternative pathway development. The recognition phase culminated in Rachel's complete integration of situational analysis, strategic planning, and resource mobilization into firm commitment to her transformation journey, despite the comprehensive challenges and risks involved. This commitment integration involved honest acknowledgement of the difficulties ahead, while developing confidence in her capabilities and strategic approaches that would enable success despite obstacles. The psychological preparation created resilience for sustained effort throughout the demanding transformation process. Rachel's commitment solidification included clear articulation of her motivation and values that would sustain effort during difficult periods, while providing criteria for evaluating opportunities and making strategic decisions throughout her journey. The integration process established clear boundaries and priorities that would guide resource allocation and time management, while preventing distraction from less important activities or opportunities that might compromise her core objectives. Final commitment included acceptance of the risks involved while developing confidence in her preparation and strategic planning that positioned her for success in the challenging journey ahead toward authentic career achievement and personal fulfillment. Rachel transformed her recognition phase insights into actionable strategic plans that addressed every aspect of her architectural career transition. The planning process required sophisticated coordination of competing priorities and resource constraints while maintaining focus on ultimate objectives. This comprehensive approach distinguished strategic thinking from simple goal setting by addressing implementation challenges and contingency planning that would enable sustained progress despite obstacles. The strategic framework established clear goal architecture that broke down complex objectives into manageable components with specific timelines and measurable outcomes. Rachel's medical background provided analytical capabilities that enhanced her planning sophistication, enabling systematic approaches to resource allocation and performance measurement that would guide decision-making throughout her transformation journey. Rachel's planning process incorporated lessons from project management methodologies while adapting them for personal career development contexts. This professional approach created accountability systems and progress tracking mechanisms that would maintain momentum during challenging periods when motivation might waver due to external pressure or internal doubt. This strategic foundation addressed both immediate tactical requirements for portfolio development and application completion, while establishing longer-term frameworks for career advancement and professional recognition within healthcare architecture specialization. This dual timeline approach ensured that immediate actions contributed to ultimate objectives rather than simply addressing urgent deadlines. Rachel's comprehensive planning demonstrated how individuals facing significant life transitions could leverage analytical capabilities to develop sophisticated approaches that maximize success probability while preparing for predictable challenges and unexpected opportunities. Rachel established goal architecture that integrated multiple objectives into coherent frameworks with clear interdependencies and priority rankings. The architectural education admission goal required portfolio development, application completion, and scholarship acquisition, each with specific requirements and deadlines that demanded coordinated effort and resource allocation. The milestone development system created intermediate targets that provided regular feedback about progress while maintaining motivation through achievable accomplishments. These milestones balanced stretch objectives that demanded excellence with realistic targets that built confidence through consistent achievement and forward momentum. Portfolio development milestones included specific project completion targets, skill acquisition benchmarks, and quality improvement indicators that would demonstrate readiness for competitive application processes. Each milestone incorporated feedback mechanisms that enabled course corrections and strategy refinement based on performance assessment and market feedback. Financial planning milestones addressed scholarship application completion, funding source diversification, and cost management objectives that would ensure sustainable educational financing without compromising academic quality or professional development opportunities. These financial targets provided security while enabling strategic risk-taking for high-reward opportunities. Professional development milestones focused on networking, relationship building, industry knowledge acquisition, and credibility establishment that would support both educational success and career advancement following graduation. These professional objectives created foundations for sustained success beyond immediate educational requirements. Rachel's limited resources required sophisticated allocation strategies that maximized impact while maintaining progress toward multiple objectives simultaneously. Time represented her most constrained resource during the intensive portfolio development period, demanding efficient learning approaches and prioritization systems that focused effort on highest impact activities. Financial resource allocation addressed immediate portfolio development costs, application fees, and educational preparation expenses, while preserving funds for future educational and career development investments. Rachel developed detailed budgets that balanced current needs with future requirements, while identifying areas where cost optimization could free resources for strategic priorities. The resource allocation strategy included systematic approaches to leveraging free and low-cost learning opportunities, while identifying areas where professional instruction or premium resources would provide essential capabilities that justified additional investment. This strategic spending approach maximized capability development within financial constraints. Energy and attention allocation recognized that intensive effort across multiple areas could lead to burnout that would compromise overall effectiveness. Rachel developed sustainable work patterns that maintained high performance while preserving psychological and physical health throughout the demanding transformation period. Social and professional relationship resources required strategic development and maintenance that balanced immediate support needs with longer-term networking objectives that would benefit her career advancement throughout the architectural profession. Rachel's strategic planning incorporated comprehensive risk assessment that identified potential obstacles and developed mitigation strategies that would minimize their impact on her transformation journey. This proactive approach created resilience that enabled continued progress, despite setbacks and unexpected challenges. Academic risks included potential difficulties with portfolio development quality, application competition intensity, and program admission requirements that might prevent her from accessing preferred educational opportunities. Mitigation strategies addressed these risks through enhanced preparation, application diversification, and alternative pathway development. Financial risks encompassed scholarship funding uncertainty, educational cost inflation, and unexpected expense emergence that could compromise her ability to complete architectural education without excessive debt accumulation. Risk mitigation included emergency funding strategies, cost reduction planning, and income generation alternatives that could be implemented rapidly if necessary. Family relationship risks addressed potential escalation of conflict that could affect her emotional well-being and social support systems, while potentially creating additional obstacles to her educational and career pursuits. Mitigation approaches balanced boundary maintenance with relationship preservation strategies. Professional development risks included mentorship relationship challenges, networking opportunity limitations, and industry change impacts that could affect career prospects in healthcare architecture specialization. These risks required diversification strategies and adaptability planning that maintained competitive positioning despite market fluctuations. The risk mitigation planning process created confidence that enabled strategic risk-taking for high-reward opportunities, while ensuring that potential setbacks would not derail her overall transformation objectives. Rachel's complex objectives required sophisticated timeline development that coordinated multiple competing deadlines, while ensuring that foundational activities were completed before dependent tasks began. This sequencing strategy maximized efficiency while preventing bottlenecks that could compromise overall timeline achievement. The immediate timeline focused on intensive portfolio development during the remaining weeks before application deadlines, with specific schedules for skill acquisition, project completion, and presentation development that would create competitive application materials within available timeframes. Portfolio development sequencing prioritized foundational skills that would enable more sophisticated project work while identifying areas where parallel development could accelerate overall progress without compromising quality standards. This optimization approach maximized capability development within compressed timelines. Application timeline coordination addressed the varying deadline requirements for different programs and scholarship opportunities, while ensuring adequate time for revision and refinement based on feedback from mentors and portfolio reviewers. Medium-term timeline planning addressed the undergraduate education period with strategic scheduling for internship acquisition, professional networking, and advanced skill development that would position Rachel for successful career entry and rapid advancement within healthcare architecture specialization. The sequencing strategy incorporated buffer time for unexpected challenges and opportunities while maintaining aggressive targets that would accelerate her progress beyond minimum requirements for educational and career success. Rachel's transformation required sophisticated communication strategies that would enable effective engagement with diverse stakeholders while maintaining authenticity and building credibility within architectural communities. These strategies addressed both immediate needs for application support and longer-term relationship-building objectives. Application communication strategies focused on presenting her unique background and career transition story in ways that emphasized intentional development and distinctive qualifications rather than rejection or failure in alternative career paths. This positioning required careful narrative development that highlighted transferable skills and relevant experience. Professional networking communication addressed the need for building relationships with established architects who could provide mentorship, advice, and eventual career opportunities while contributing value that justified their investment in her development. These communication approaches balanced learning objectives with relationship building. Family communication strategies address the ongoing challenge of managing family relationships during her transformation journey while preserving opportunities for eventual reconciliation without compromising her authentic career pursuits or accepting inappropriate pressure to abandon her objectives. Academic communication planning prepared for effective engagement with faculty, staff, and fellow students during her architectural education, while leveraging her unique background to enhance learning experiences and contribute distinctive perspectives to collaborative projects. The communication framework included crisis communication strategies that would enable effective response to challenges or setbacks, while maintaining stakeholder confidence and preserving relationship foundations for continued support and collaboration. Rachel's rapid skill development requirements demanded systematic learning approaches that maximized capability acquisition within compressed timeframes, while building foundations for continued professional advancement throughout her architectural career. Technical skill development prioritized computer-aided design proficiency, architectural drawing capabilities, and presentation software mastery that would be immediately necessary for portfolio creation and architectural education success. The learning approach combined online tutorials, intensive workshops, and practice projects that built competency through applied problem-solving. Design thinking skill development addressed the creative problem-solving approaches that distinguished architectural practice while building on Rachel's analytical capabilities from her scientific background. This integration created unique synthesis capabilities that would differentiate her professional approach. Visual communication skill development focused on architectural representation techniques, graphic design principles, and presentation methodologies that would enable effective communication of design concepts to diverse audiences throughout her career development. Professional practice skill development addressed project management, client relations, and business development capabilities that would become important during career advancement while building awareness of contemporary architectural practice realities. The learning architecture incorporated feedback mechanisms and progress assessment approaches that would guide continued skill development throughout her educational journey, while identifying areas where additional focus would enhance competitive positioning and professional effectiveness. Rachel's career transition required developing professional identity that integrated her unique background with contemporary architectural practice, while positioning her for leadership within healthcare architecture specialization. This identity development process demanded authentic self-presentation that leveraged distinctive qualifications. Professional positioning strategies emphasized her medical knowledge background as a competitive advantage for healthcare architecture specialization, while demonstrating how this expertise would enable unique contributions to facility design and planning that improved patient outcomes through environmental intervention. Personal brand development addressed the need for consistent messaging about her background, interests, and career objectives across multiple contexts, while maintaining authenticity and building recognition within architectural communities. This branding approach would differentiate her in competitive educational and professional environments. Online presence development included portfolio website creation, social media engagement strategies, and professional platform participation that would establish credibility while building visibility for her unique qualifications and healthcare architecture focus. Network brand development addressed how she would be perceived and remembered by professional contacts, while ensuring that her reputation supported rather than hindered her career advancement objectives within the architectural community. The professional identity framework provided guidance for strategic decision-making about opportunities, relationships, and communications that would enhance rather than compromise her professional positioning and credibility development. Rachel's strategic framework required sophisticated monitoring systems that would provide accurate feedback about progress while enabling rapid adjustments when strategies proved ineffective or circumstances changed unexpectedly. This adaptive approach ensured that her efforts remained aligned with objectives despite dynamic conditions. Performance measurement systems addressed both quantitative indicators such as skill assessment scores and portfolio development metrics alongside qualitative feedback from mentors, peers, and industry professionals about her progress and market positioning. Progress tracking mechanisms included regular review processes that evaluated strategic implementation against planned objectives, while identifying areas where additional effort or strategy modification would improve outcomes and accelerate progress toward transformation goals. The monitoring system incorporated external feedback collection that provided market intelligence about architectural education trends, industry developments, and competitive positioning factors that could affect her strategic planning and tactical implementation approaches. Adjustment protocols established clear criteria for recognizing when strategy modifications were necessary while maintaining commitment to core objectives and avoiding reactive changes that could compromise overall transformation effectiveness. The implementation monitoring framework created accountability while providing psychological security that enabled strategic risk-taking and aggressive goal pursuit without fear that setbacks would derail overall progress toward her architectural career objectives. Rachel's strategic foundation development culminated in solid preparation for intensive implementation that would transform her comprehensive planning into observable progress toward architectural career objectives. This foundation provided confidence and capability that enabled sustained high-performance effort, despite external pressure and internal challenges. Capability foundation development addressed the technical skills, professional knowledge, and strategic frameworks that would support effective action during the intensive implementation phase, while building confidence through demonstrated competency in relevant areas. Resource foundation establishment ensured that financial, social, and professional resources were available and accessible when needed for implementation, while creating contingency options that would enable continued progress despite unexpected challenges or opportunities. Psychological foundation development addressed the mindset, motivation, and resilience characteristics that would sustain effort during challenging periods, while maintaining optimism and strategic thinking when progress seemed slow or obstacles appeared insurmountable. Network foundation creation established initial professional relationships and support systems that would provide guidance, feedback, and eventual opportunities, while contributing to the credibility development that would accelerate her career advancement within healthcare architecture. The foundation solidification process created readiness for the intensive action phase that would follow, while ensuring that implementation efforts would build on solid preparation, rather than reactive improvisation that could compromise effectiveness and efficiency. Rachel's comprehensive strategic framework transformed from theoretical planning into concrete action during the first week of December, marking the critical transition from preparation to implementation. This shift required fundamental changes in mindset and daily routines, as abstract goals became specific tasks, with measurable outcomes and immediate deadlines. The implementation phase began with establishing new daily schedules that allocated focused time blocks for portfolio development, skill acquisition, and application completion, while maintaining academic performance in her demanding senior year coursework. This schedule required disciplined time management that eliminated non-essential activities while preserving adequate rest and stress management practices. Rachel's implementation approach emphasized systematic execution of planned activities rather than reactive responses to immediate pressures or external expectations. This strategic approach prevented the scattered effort that typically characterized crisis responses while ensuring that each action contributed directly to her transformation objectives. The transition to action revealed the gap between theoretical planning and practical execution, as Rachel encountered unexpected challenges in skill development timelines, resource access limitations, and coordination difficulties that required real-time problem-solving and strategy adjustment. Implementation success required maintaining strategic perspective while adapting to practical constraints and emerging opportunities that had not been anticipated during the planning phase. This balance between persistence and flexibility characterized effective execution of complex transformation initiatives. Rachel's portfolio development process began with comprehensive analysis of admission requirements for her target architecture programs, establishing specific project types and presentation standards that would demonstrate her design capabilities and creative potential to admissions committees. The intensive development process required mastering multiple software applications simultaneously while learning architectural representation conventions and design communication techniques. Rachel established learning schedules that combined online tutorials, practice exercises, and progressive project development that built competency through applied problem-solving. Her first major portfolio project focused on redesigning the pediatric wing of Boston Children's Hospital, leveraging her medical knowledge to create innovative solutions for reducing patient anxiety while supporting family involvement in care processes. This project demonstrated her unique qualifications while showcasing advanced design thinking capabilities. The Pediatric Hospital Project integrated evidence-based design principles with creative spatial solutions that addressed specific healthcare challenges through architectural intervention. Rachel researched pediatric psychology, infection control requirements, and therapeutic environment design to create comprehensive solutions that went beyond aesthetic considerations. Portfolio development revealed Rachel's natural design intuition combined with analytical rigor from her scientific background, creating distinctive problem-solving approaches that differentiated her work from typical undergraduate portfolio submissions. This unique synthesis represented her competitive advantage in application processes. Rachel's accelerated technical skill development required intensive focus on computer-aided design software mastery, while simultaneously developing hand-drawing capabilities and architectural representation techniques. This dual approach created comprehensive design communication skills within compressed timeframes. The skill acquisition process began with fundamental software training through online tutorials and practice exercises that built proficiency in industry-standard applications including AutoCAD, Revit, and Adobe Creative Suite programs. Rachel established daily practice schedules that progressively advanced her technical capabilities. Hand-drawing skill development focused on perspective drawing, technical illustration, and conceptual sketching techniques that would enable rapid design communication and creative exploration during architectural education. These traditional skills complemented digital capabilities while providing alternative communication methods. Rachel's scientific background accelerated her understanding of technical aspects, including structural principles, building systems, and environmental performance analysis, that distinguished architectural practice from purely artistic endeavors. This technical comprehension enhanced her design proposals while building credibility with technical reviewers. The skill development process incorporated feedback mechanisms through online communities, local architecture groups, and informal mentorship relationships that provided guidance about industry standards and improvement opportunities for her developing capabilities. Rachel's application strategy required customizing presentations for different programs while maintaining consistency in her core narrative about healthcare architecture specialization and unique medical background qualifications. This customization balanced program-specific requirements with authentic self-presentation. The application development process began with comprehensive research into faculty expertise, program emphasis, and institutional cultures at her target schools including MIT, Carnegie Mellon, and Cornell. This research informed customized approaches that demonstrated genuine interest and strategic fit with program strengths. Personal statement development required articulating her career transition story in ways that emphasized intentional development rather than rejection of family expectations, while demonstrating mature understanding of architectural practice and career commitment despite external opposition. Portfolio presentation strategies varied by program requirements while maintaining consistent quality standards and design philosophy throughout all submissions. Rachel developed multiple presentation formats that showcased her work effectively within different application contexts and review processes. The application timeline required coordinating submission deadlines with ongoing portfolio refinement and application component completion, while maintaining academic performance and managing family relationship challenges that continued affecting her daily environment. Rachel's financial independence requirements demanded aggressive scholarship pursuit that combined need-based and merit-based funding sources while highlighting her unique qualifications and compelling personal narrative of overcoming family opposition to pursue authentic career goals. The scholarship application process required developing compelling essays that communicated her financial circumstances without appearing to solicit sympathy, while demonstrating determination and capability that justified investment in her educational journey. Merit-based scholarship applications emphasized her academic achievements, unique background combination, and potential for significant contributions to healthcare architecture, while providing evidence of commitment through her portfolio development and strategic career planning. Need-based applications required honest disclosure of her family situation while maintaining dignity and focusing on future potential rather than current difficulties. Rachel developed communication strategies that explained her circumstances without compromising family relationships or appearing vindictive. The scholarship pursuit process revealed additional opportunities for recognition and support that extended beyond financial assistance to include mentorship programs, networking opportunities, and professional development resources that would enhance her career advancement prospects. Rachel's network building initiative focused on establishing relationships with healthcare architects, academic professionals, and industry organizations that could provide guidance, opportunities, and eventual career advancement support throughout her transformation journey. The networking approach emphasized providing value to potential mentors through research assistance, project support, and fresh perspectives from her medical background, rather than simply seeking assistance and advice. This reciprocal approach created sustainable relationships that benefited all participants. Professional organization engagement included joining student chapters of the American Institute of Architects and the Academy of Architecture for Health, while participating in conferences, workshops, and networking events that provided exposure to industry trends and professional contacts. Rachel's networking activities included informational interviews with established healthcare architects who provided insights about career development paths, industry challenges, and educational strategies that enhanced her understanding of professional requirements and opportunities. The network development process incorporated social media engagement and online portfolio presentation that built visibility within architectural communities, while demonstrating her commitment and developing expertise in healthcare architecture specialization. Rachel's intensive portfolio development and application activities required maintaining excellent academic performance in her demanding senior year coursework, while managing increased stress levels and time pressures from multiple competing priorities. Academic performance strategies included efficient study methods, strategic course selection, and faculty relationship management that preserved her strong academic record, while allocating maximum time and energy to portfolio development and application completion. The academic maintenance approach recognized that strong grades remained essential for scholarship consideration and program admission, while avoiding perfectionism that would consume excessive time and energy needed for transformation activities. Rachel developed stress management techniques including regular exercise, adequate sleep schedules, and mindfulness practices that maintained psychological health while sustaining high performance across multiple demanding areas simultaneously. Faculty relationships required careful management as some teachers expressed concern about her career direction change, while others provided encouragement and support for her authentic pursuit of architectural education and career development. Rachel's intensive implementation efforts began producing measurable results within the first month, as her portfolio projects demonstrated significant improvement, and her technical skills reached levels sufficient for competitive application submission. The portfolio development process revealed Rachel's natural design abilities combined with analytical thinking that created sophisticated solutions to complex healthcare design challenges. External feedback from architecture professionals confirmed that her work demonstrated genuine talent and serious commitment. Technical skill development progressed more rapidly than anticipated, as Rachel's scientific background facilitated understanding of structural principles and building systems that typically challenged students without technical education backgrounds. Professional networking activities generated positive responses from healthcare architects, who recognized the value of her medical knowledge background while providing encouragement and practical advice about career development strategies and educational opportunities. Early application submission provided confidence and momentum as Rachel completed requirements ahead of deadlines while maintaining quality standards that positioned her competitively within applicant pools for prestigious programs. Rachel's early implementation success created psychological momentum that reinforced her decision to pursue architectural education despite family opposition, while building confidence in her capabilities and strategic approach to transformation challenges. The positive feedback from portfolio reviewers and professional contacts validated her belief in her design potential, while providing objective confirmation that her career transition decision represented realistic assessment of her abilities rather than unrealistic aspirations. Momentum-building activities included celebrating milestone achievements while maintaining focus on remaining objectives and upcoming deadlines. This balance between acknowledgement and continued effort sustained motivation throughout the demanding implementation period. Rachel's growing confidence enabled more ambitious goal-setting and strategic risk-taking as she pursued stretch opportunities, including competitive scholarship applications and networking with prominent professionals who could accelerate her career development. The momentum generation process created positive feedback loops where early success enabled additional opportunities that further enhanced her competitive positioning and professional development prospects within healthcare architecture specialization. Rachel's implementation activities focused on strategic positioning that would distinguish her within competitive educational and professional environments, while leveraging her unique background combination for maximum advantage. Positioning strategies emphasized her medical knowledge as a competitive differentiator for healthcare architecture while demonstrating sophisticated understanding of patient care requirements and facility operational challenges that purely design-educated professionals might lack. The positioning approach required balancing her non-traditional background presentation in ways that highlighted advantages while addressing potential concerns about her commitment to architectural practice rather than returning to medical career paths. Professional positioning activities included developing expertise in specific healthcare architecture niches, including pediatric facility design, rehabilitation centers, and medical technology integration that aligned with her interests while creating specialized knowledge that would accelerate career advancement. The strategic positioning process incorporated market analysis of healthcare architecture trends and opportunities that informed her specialization choices while ensuring alignment with industry growth areas and professional advancement prospects. Rachel's implementation period required managing ongoing family dynamics while maintaining focus on transformation objectives and preserving opportunities for eventual relationship repair without compromising her authentic career pursuits or accepting inappropriate pressure. Family relationship strategies included establishing clear boundaries about career discussions while maintaining respectful communication about other topics that preserved emotional connections without engaging in arguments about her educational and career decisions. The management approach recognized that family acceptance might require demonstrable success rather than explanations or justifications, creating motivation for exceptional achievement that would eventually validate her decision-making and strategic planning capabilities. Rachel developed support systems outside her family that provided emotional encouragement and practical advice during challenging periods when family opposition created additional stress and uncertainty about her transformation journey. The relationship management process included preparing for potential family reconciliation following successful achievement, while avoiding premature attempts at resolution that could compromise her progress or create additional conflict during critical implementation periods. Rachel's limited resource constraints required continuous optimization of time, energy, and financial allocation while maintaining quality standards and progress toward transformation objectives, despite challenging circumstances and external pressures. Resource optimization strategies included identifying free and low-cost learning opportunities, while strategically investing in premium resources that provided essential capabilities or significant competitive advantages within compressed development timelines. Efficiency development focused on learning methodologies and work processes that maximize skill acquisition and project completion rates while maintaining quality standards and avoiding burnout that could compromise overall implementation effectiveness. Rachel's optimization approach included leveraging her analytical capabilities from scientific training to identify inefficiencies and improvement opportunities, while developing systematic approaches to skill development and project management. The resource optimization process created sustainable work patterns that could be maintained throughout her educational journey, while building efficiency habits that would enhance her professional effectiveness throughout her architectural career development. Rachel's first implementation phase concluded with substantial progress toward her immediate objectives, while establishing foundations for continued advancement throughout her architectural education and career development journey. The implementation success created psychological confidence and practical capabilities that positioned her for sustained high performance despite future challenges and setbacks that would inevitably occur during her transformation process. Future foundation development included establishing relationships, skills, and reputation elements that would support continued advancement, while creating strategic options and opportunities for accelerated career development within healthcare architecture specialization. Rachel's implementation approach demonstrated how systematic strategic thinking combined with disciplined execution could overcome significant obstacles while achieving ambitious objectives within compressed timeframes despite external opposition and resource constraints. Rachel's initial implementation period generated substantial data about the effectiveness of her strategic approaches, while revealing areas where refinement would enhance performance and competitive positioning. The learning integration process required systematic analysis of implementation results to identify patterns and principles that would guide strategy optimization for subsequent phases of her transformation journey. The refinement process distinguished between challenges that required strategic adjustment and obstacles that demanded persistence through difficult periods without abandoning proven approaches. This analytical capability prevented reactive changes that could compromise overall effectiveness, while enabling adaptive improvements that enhanced competitive advantage. Rachel's scientific background provided analytical frameworks for evaluating evidence objectively, rather than relying on emotional responses to setbacks or unexpected difficulties. This systematic approach to strategy refinement demonstrated how individuals could leverage existing analytical capabilities to enhance transformation effectiveness through evidence-based decision-making. The experience-based refinement process incorporated feedback from multiple sources, including portfolio reviewers, professional mentors, academic advisors, and peer competitors, who provided diverse perspectives about market conditions and performance standards within architectural education and career development contexts. Strategy refinement required balancing consistency with adaptation, as Rachel maintained commitment to core objectives while adjusting tactical approaches that proved ineffective or resource-intensive relative to alternatives that could achieve similar outcomes more efficiently. Rachel's implementation experience revealed distinct patterns in her performance across different activities and contexts that provided insights for optimizing resource allocation and improving strategic effectiveness. Pattern recognition capabilities enabled prediction of likely outcomes from various strategic choices, while identifying optimal conditions for different types of development activities. Performance patterns indicated that Rachel achieved exceptional results when projects integrated her medical knowledge with architectural problem-solving, while experiencing greater difficulty with purely aesthetic or artistic challenges that did not leverage her analytical capabilities and technical background. Time management patterns revealed that concentrated work sessions during early morning hours produced higher quality output than extended periods of sporadic effort throughout the day. This recognition enabled schedule optimization that maximized productive time while reducing stress and improving work-life balance during intensive development periods. Learning patterns demonstrated that hands-on application of new skills through project work accelerated competency development more effectively than passive study methods or theoretical instruction without practical application. This insight informed future skill development strategies that emphasized experiential learning approaches. Social interaction patterns indicated that professional networking activities generated more valuable relationships and opportunities. When Rachel approached conversations with specific questions and research objectives, rather than general requests for advice or support. This focused approach created mutual value while building credibility with established professionals. Rachel's experience with portfolio development and application processes revealed numerous opportunities for optimization that could improve efficiency while maintaining quality standards. These optimizations freed time and energy for additional development activities, while reducing stress associated with managing multiple competing demands. Workflow optimization addressed the sequence and coordination of design development activities to minimize redundant effort while ensuring that project components integrated effectively. Rachel developed systematic approaches to project planning that incorporated feedback loops and revision cycles without compromising deadline requirements. Technology optimization focused on software proficiency development and digital tool integration that accelerated design development and presentation preparation. Rachel's systematic approach to technology mastery enabled sophisticated presentation capabilities that differentiated her work from competitors with less technical proficiency. Communication optimization addressed email management, meeting preparation, and professional correspondence that enhanced relationship building while minimizing time investment required for maintaining network connections and mentor relationships. These efficiencies enabled broader professional engagement without overwhelming time demands. Research optimization developed systematic approaches to information gathering and analysis that supported design decision-making, while building knowledge bases that could be leveraged across multiple projects and applications. This knowledge management approach created competitive advantages through accumulated expertise. Rachel's diverse learning experiences during implementation required synthesis approaches that integrated new architectural knowledge with existing medical expertise, while developing hybrid competencies that distinguished her professional capabilities from purely architectural or medical backgrounds. The synthesis process addressed fundamental design principles that applied across healthcare architecture contexts, while identifying specific applications that leveraged her medical knowledge for solving complex facility planning and patient experience challenges that required interdisciplinary expertise. Integration activities included developing design methodologies that systematically incorporated evidence-based healthcare practices with innovative architectural solutions. This methodological approach created repeatable processes that could be applied across different project types while maintaining consistency in her professional approach. Knowledge integration extended beyond technical competencies to include understanding of regulatory environments, professional practice standards, and industry trends that affected healthcare architecture practice. This comprehensive knowledge base positioned Rachel for leadership roles that required broad understanding of complex professional contexts. This synthesis approach created unique value propositions that justified premium positioning within competitive markets, while establishing expertise areas where Rachel could provide distinctive contributions that were not readily available from conventional architectural practitioners. Rachel's strategic framework required sophisticated feedback mechanisms that provided accurate performance assessment, while enabling rapid course corrections when approaches proved ineffective or circumstances changed. The feedback system balanced multiple information sources while maintaining focus on objective performance indicators. Professional feedback loops included regular communication with mentors and industry contacts who provided market intelligence about competitive positioning, skill development priorities, and career advancement strategies that enhanced her strategic planning and tactical implementation approaches. Academic feedback systems addressed portfolio quality assessment, application competitiveness evaluation, and educational preparation adequacy that informed decisions about additional development activities and strategic positioning for program admission and scholarship consideration. Self-assessment feedback loops incorporated performance measurement against established milestones while identifying areas where additional effort or strategy modification would enhance outcomes. These internal assessment capabilities reduced dependence on external validation while maintaining realistic performance expectations. Market feedback systems addressed industry trends, educational program changes, and competitive landscape evolution that could affect her strategic planning and career development prospects. This market intelligence enabled proactive adaptation rather than reactive responses to changing conditions. The feedback management system established protocols for integrating diverse information sources while maintaining strategic focus and avoiding analysis paralysis that could compromise implementation effectiveness. Rachel's implementation experience revealed opportunities for strategic enhancements that required significant adjustments to her original approaches while maintaining commitment to core transformation objectives. The pivot planning process addressed how to implement strategic changes without losing momentum or credibility. Pivot planning addressed portfolio development strategies that emphasized her strongest capabilities while addressing competency gaps through targeted development activities. This strategic focus maximized competitive advantage while ensuring comprehensive preparation for architectural education requirements. Application strategy pivots addressed program selection refinement based on improved understanding of institutional cultures, faculty expertise, and career development support systems that aligned with her healthcare architecture specialization objectives and professional advancement goals. Professional development pivots addressed networking strategy enhancement that focused on specific industry sectors and geographic markets, where healthcare architecture opportunities provided optimal career advancement prospects and compensation potential. The pivot implementation process addressed communication strategies for explaining strategic changes to mentors and supporters, while maintaining credibility and demonstrating strategic thinking rather than indecisiveness or lack of commitment to original objectives. Rachel's intensive implementation period revealed the psychological and emotional demands of sustained high performance, while managing external pressure and family relationship challenges. Resilience building became essential for maintaining effectiveness throughout extended transformation periods. Stress management integration addressed the physical and mental health practices that sustained high performance, while preventing burnout that could compromise overall effectiveness. Rachel developed systematic approaches to exercise, nutrition, and sleep management that supported intensive work periods. Psychological resilience building addressed mindset development and emotional regulation techniques that maintained motivation during challenging periods, while building confidence through systematic achievement of incremental objectives. These psychological capabilities proved essential for sustained effort despite setbacks. Social support system development addressed relationship building outside family contexts that provided encouragement and practical assistance during difficult periods. These support networks created alternative sources of validation and guidance when family relationships remained strained. The resilience integration process addressed long-term sustainability concerns that enabled continued high performance throughout architectural education and career development, without compromising personal well-being or relationship quality with supportive individuals. Rachel's early success created opportunities for establishing performance standards that exceeded minimum requirements, while positioning her for exceptional rather than adequate achievement throughout her transformation journey. Excellence standard development required systematic approaches to continuous improvement. Performance optimization addressed quality control processes for portfolio development, application preparation, and professional engagement that ensured consistent excellence across all activities while building reputation for reliability and superior capability. Excellence standards development addressed benchmarking against top performers in architectural education and professional practice rather than accepting adequate performance relative to average standards. This approach created stretch objectives that accelerated development while building confidence through exceptional achievement. Continuous improvement systems addressed learning from each project and interaction to identify enhancement opportunities while building knowledge bases that supported increasingly sophisticated problem-solving capabilities and professional contributions. The performance optimization process created systematic approaches to exceeding expectations, while building recognition for exceptional capability that would accelerate career advancement and professional opportunity development throughout her architectural education and practice. Rachel's implementation experience revealed opportunities for developing innovative approaches to healthcare architecture challenges while building creative problem-solving capabilities that would distinguish her professional practice throughout her career development. Innovation development addressed systematic approaches to identifying unmet needs within healthcare facility design, while developing creative solutions that integrated architectural excellence with operational efficiency and patient experience enhancement. Creative problem-solving enhancement addressed design thinking methodologies that combined analytical rigor with creative exploration to generate breakthrough solutions for complex healthcare architecture challenges that required interdisciplinary expertise and innovative thinking. Research and development capabilities addressed systematic approaches to staying current with healthcare industry trends while identifying emerging opportunities for architectural innovation that could create competitive advantages and professional recognition. The innovation framework addressed intellectual property development and thought leadership positioning that would establish Rachel as a recognized expert in healthcare architecture innovation, while building platform for professional advancement and industry influence. Rachel's networking activities and professional engagement generated market intelligence about healthcare architecture industry trends, competitive dynamics, and emerging opportunities that informed strategic positioning and career development planning. Market analysis capabilities addressed systematic monitoring of industry publications, professional conferences, and regulatory developments that affected healthcare architecture practice, while identifying opportunities for specialization and competitive differentiation. Competitive positioning analysis addressed understanding of how her unique background and developing capabilities compared with established professionals and emerging competitors within healthcare architecture markets and educational programs. Strategic positioning enhancement addressed personal branding and professional reputation development that established recognition for her distinctive qualifications while building credibility within target market segments and professional communities. The market intelligence system enabled proactive career development planning that anticipated industry changes while positioning Rachel for leadership opportunities within growing market segments that aligned with her interests and capabilities. Rachel's learning integration process established strengthened foundations for continued advancement while preparing for upcoming challenges and opportunities during architectural education and early career development phases. Foundation strengthening addressed consolidation of acquired skills and knowledge, while identifying areas where additional development would enhance competitive positioning and professional effectiveness throughout her educational journey and career advancement. Future preparation addressed anticipation of educational program requirements, professional licensing standards, and career advancement expectations that would guide continued development activities while ensuring alignment with long-term objectives. Strategic planning enhancement addressed refinement of long-term career development goals based on improved understanding of industry opportunities and personal capabilities, while maintaining flexibility for adaptation as circumstances and interests evolved. The foundation strengthening process created resilient platforms for continued growth, while building confidence and capability that would support exceptional performance, despite future challenges and unexpected opportunities throughout her transformation journey. As Rachel's portfolio development gained momentum and her application submissions approached completion, her family's opposition intensified beyond the initial disappointment into active resistance designed to undermine her architectural career pursuit. This escalation transformed her challenge from managing family disappointment into defending her transformation against systematic sabotage attempts. The resistance campaign began subtly through social pressure tactics that leveraged the Morrison family's extensive network within Boston's medical community. Family, friends, and professional colleagues began approaching Rachel with expressions of concern about her career decision, while offering to facilitate meetings with influential physicians who could restore her medical career path. These intervention attempts appeared well-intentioned, while creating psychological pressure that suggested her architectural interests represented temporary confusion rather than legitimate career choice. The coordinated nature of these approaches indicated that her family had developed systematic strategies for pressuring her to reconsider her transformation objectives. The external opposition expanded to include financial pressure tactics, as her parents threatened to withdraw all educational funding unless she returned to pre-medical studies. This financial leverage represented their most powerful tool for forcing compliance, while testing her commitment to architectural education despite significant personal cost. Professional sabotage attempts included her mother contacting guidance counselors and teachers to express concern about Rachel's mental health and decision-making capacity. These communications aimed to undermine institutional support while creating documentation that could be used to question her competency for making educational decisions. Rachel's preparatory school administration became increasingly involved in her family's campaign to redirect her career path, as concerned educators questioned her judgment in abandoning guaranteed medical career success for uncertain architectural prospects. The institutional resistance created additional obstacles to her transformation while undermining her credibility with potential supporters. School counselors scheduled mandatory meetings to discuss her career change, while presenting statistical evidence about architectural career prospects and earning potential compared to medical practice. These sessions were structured as objective counseling while clearly advocating for reconsideration of her architectural education pursuit. Faculty members who had previously supported her academic development began expressing disappointment and concern about her decision, while suggesting that she was squandering exceptional opportunities due to emotional rebellion rather than rational career planning. This faculty opposition eliminated important sources of recommendations and support. The institutional resistance extended to administrative obstacles, including delays in transcript processing and recommendation letter completion, that threatened her application deadlines. These bureaucratic barriers appeared as procedural issues while systematically undermining her ability to complete competitive applications. College preparatory resources that had been readily available for medical school planning became unavailable for architectural education support, as institutional staff claimed lack of expertise and appropriate guidance materials for non-traditional career paths. Rachel's peer group, predominantly composed of students pursuing pre-medical education, began distancing themselves from her transformation efforts while expressing concern about her influence on their own commitment to medical career paths. This social isolation eliminated important emotional support systems during her most challenging implementation period. Former friends interpreted her career change as implicit criticism of their choices, while expressing concern that association with her apparent rebellion could affect their own relationships with parents and institutional authority figures who valued conformity and traditional achievement patterns. Study groups and academic collaboration opportunities that had been available for science courses became unavailable, as peers avoided academic association that might be interpreted as support for her non-conforming career decisions. This isolation increased her academic workload while eliminating collaborative learning benefits. Social media harassment began as former friends and extended family members posted public comments, questioning her judgment and predicting failure in architectural education and career development. These public attacks aimed to create shame and embarrassment that would pressure her to abandon her transformation efforts. The peer pressure campaign included spreading rumors about emotional instability and poor judgment that could affect her reputation with college admissions officers and professional contacts who might receive information about her character and reliability through social networks. The sustained external opposition combined with social isolation began generating internal doubt about her decision-making capacity and realistic prospects for success in architectural education and career development. These psychological challenges represented potentially more dangerous obstacles than external opposition, because they could undermine her motivation and strategic thinking. Doubt manifestation included questioning whether her family's predictions about architectural career limitations might be accurate, while wondering if her passion for design was sufficient to overcome the substantial obstacles and opposition she was encountering throughout her transformation journey. The internal pressure included wondering whether she was being selfish in pursuing personal interests that created family conflict while sacrificing relationships and financial security for uncertain career prospects that might not justify the personal and social costs involved. Psychological stress symptoms began affecting her sleep patterns, appetite, and concentration, while creating fatigue that threatened her ability to maintain high-performance standards necessary for competitive application completion and academic excellence maintenance. Self-worth questioning included wondering whether her family's assessment of her as pathetic might contain elements of truth, while examining whether her architectural interests represented genuine capability or unrealistic aspirations that would lead to eventual failure and humiliation. The internal doubt created paralysis periods where decision-making became difficult, while strategic thinking was compromised by emotional overwhelm and uncertainty about whether to continue pursuing transformation objectives or accept family expectations and social pressure. Rachel faced the critical challenge of distinguishing between situations that required persistent effort despite opposition and circumstances where strategic adaptation might be more appropriate for achieving her ultimate transformation objectives. This analysis demanded objective assessment despite emotional pressure and social isolation. The persistence analysis addressed whether her architectural education pursuit represented strategically sound career development or emotional reaction to family control that might not serve her long-term interests. This self-examination required honest assessment of motivation and realistic evaluation of capability and opportunity. Strategic adaptation considerations included whether alternative approaches to healthcare architecture career development might achieve similar objectives while reducing family conflict and social opposition that was consuming significant energy and creating psychological stress. The analysis framework addressed whether the opposition she was encountering represented predictable resistance to change that would diminish over time, or fundamental incompatibility between her goals and realistic opportunities within current circumstances and resource constraints. Adaptation possibilities included whether temporary compromise on educational timing or approach might enable eventual achievement of architectural career objectives while preserving family relationships and social support systems that could benefit her long-term development and well-being. Rachel recognized that sustained resistance required building alternative support systems that could provide emotional encouragement, practical assistance, and professional guidance during the challenging transformation period. Coalition building became essential for maintaining momentum despite systematic opposition. Professional coalition development focused on strengthening relationships with architectural mentors and industry contacts who could provide perspective about normal career development challenges, while offering encouragement and practical advice for managing family and social opposition to non-traditional career choices. Academic coalition building addressed developing relationships with educators and counselors outside her preparatory school, who could provide objective guidance about architectural education while supporting her application and scholarship pursuit without bias from her family's medical background and expectations. Peer coalition development included identifying other students who were pursuing non-traditional career paths or experiencing family opposition to authentic career choices. These relationships provided mutual support while demonstrating that her challenges were not unique or indicative of poor judgment. Community coalition building addressed engagement with local architectural organizations and healthcare design professionals who could provide perspective about industry opportunities, while offering networking and mentorship relationships that replaced family and institutional support systems. The coalition-building strategy balanced seeking support with maintaining independence, while ensuring that new relationships were based on mutual value creation, rather than dependency that could create additional vulnerabilities or obligations. The sustained opposition required developing psychological resilience that could maintain effectiveness and strategic thinking, despite emotional pressure and social isolation. Resilience building became a strategic necessity rather than personal preference for managing challenging circumstances. Mental health practices included establishing regular counseling support with professionals who understood family dynamics and career development challenges, while providing objective guidance for managing stress and maintaining psychological well-being during difficult transformation periods. Stress management techniques included developing meditation practices, regular exercise routines, and healthy sleep habits that supported sustained high performance while building physical and emotional reserves necessary for managing prolonged challenging circumstances. Emotional regulation development addressed techniques for managing anger, disappointment, and frustration without allowing these emotions to compromise strategic thinking or damage relationships that might become important for future reconciliation and support. Confidence-building practices included systematic recognition of progress and achievement while maintaining perspective about long-term objectives, despite short-term setbacks and opposition that might obscure evidence of successful transformation advancement. The resilience framework addressed sustainable approaches to managing opposition that could be maintained throughout her educational journey and early career development, without compromising personal well-being or authentic relationship capacity. Rachel developed sophisticated communication approaches for responding to opposition while maintaining her strategic objectives and preserving opportunities for eventual relationship repair with family and social network members who were currently opposing her transformation efforts. Defensive communication strategies addressed responding to criticism and pressure without engaging in arguments that would escalate conflict, while maintaining dignity and demonstrating maturity in managing difficult interpersonal dynamics despite emotional provocation. Boundary-setting communication addressed establishing clear limits about acceptable behavior and conversation topics, while maintaining respectful engagement with family and social network members who were attempting to undermine her transformation efforts. Positive communication strategies focused on sharing progress and achievements with supportive individuals, while building recognition for her developing capabilities and strategic approach to career development, despite opposition and resource constraints. Professional communication approaches addressed engaging with mentors and industry contacts about family opposition, while seeking advice and support, without appearing to seek sympathy or creating negative impressions about her character or reliability. The communication framework balanced authenticity with strategic considerations, while ensuring that her responses to opposition supported, rather than undermined her long-term objectives for both career advancement and relationship preservation. Rachel recognized that overcoming systematic opposition would require compelling evidence of her capabilities and achievements that could not be dismissed as emotional rebellion or poor judgment. Evidence development became a strategic priority for building credibility and defending her transformation decisions. Performance documentation addressed systematic collection of portfolio feedback, mentor testimonials, and professional recognition that demonstrated genuine capability and serious commitment to architectural career development, rather than temporary interest or family rebellion. Academic evidence development included maintaining exceptional performance in current coursework, while building documented expertise in architectural knowledge areas that demonstrated serious preparation and legitimate qualifications for pursuing specialized education. Professional evidence collection addressed gathering testimonials and recommendations from industry professionals who could attest to her capabilities and potential for success in healthcare architecture specialization, based on their evaluation of her work and strategic thinking. Market validation evidence addressed collecting information about healthcare architecture, career opportunities, and compensation potential that could counter family arguments about poor career prospects and financial limitations in architectural practice. The evidence development strategy addressed future presentation of accumulated documentation in ways that would support her position, while demonstrating that her transformation decisions were based on realistic assessment of opportunities and capabilities, rather than emotional reactions to family expectations. Despite current opposition and challenges, Rachel maintained focus on strategic positioning that would enable eventual success while building foundations for opportunities that might emerge as her transformation progressed and opposition diminished through demonstrated achievement. Market positioning development addressed building reputation and recognition within healthcare architecture communities that would support career advancement while creating visibility for her unique qualifications and developing expertise in specialized practice areas. Network positioning strategies addressed maintaining and developing professional relationships that could provide opportunities and support, while positioning her for leadership roles within growing healthcare architecture markets and professional organizations. Academic positioning addressed preparing for exceptional performance in architectural education that would build credibility and recognition while creating platforms for advanced opportunities including research, publication, and thought leadership development. Family positioning strategies addressed maintaining relationships that could enable eventual reconciliation, while demonstrating maturity and success that would validate her decision-making and strategic planning capabilities, despite current opposition and criticism. The strategic positioning framework addressed long-term reputation development that would support sustained career advancement, while building platform for eventually influencing others who might face similar challenges in pursuing authentic career paths despite family and social opposition. Rachel understood that overcoming sustained opposition would require breakthrough achievements that could not be dismissed or minimized, while maintaining momentum toward her transformation objectives despite psychological pressure and resource constraints from systematic resistance. Achievement targeting addressed identifying specific accomplishments that would provide undeniable evidence of capability, while building recognition and credibility that could counter opposition narratives about poor judgment and unrealistic aspirations. Momentum maintenance strategies addressed sustaining effort and motivation during challenging periods, while building incremental progress that would support eventual breakthrough achievements and strategic positioning for major opportunities. Timeline management addressed balancing immediate opposition responses with long-term strategic positioning while ensuring that energy invested in managing resistance did not compromise progress toward transformation objectives and competitive positioning. Resource protection addressed preserving financial, emotional, and social resources necessary for continued advancement, while minimizing damage from opposition activities that aimed to undermine her capability for sustained transformation effort. The breakthrough preparation framework addressed positioning for recognition and opportunity development that would demonstrate the success of her strategic approach while providing validation that could transform opposition into support and admiration for her achievement and perseverance. Up next, you've got 2 more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.